Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. The world's best main battle tank is a competition between Germany's Leopard 2 and two well-known designs, the American M1 Abrams and the British Challenger 2. Berlin's seemingly unstoppable reputation, however, has taken a beating on the battlefields of Syria and placed it in an especially awkward domestic political dispute with another NATO member, Turkey. Ankara had offered to release a political prisoner from Germany in return for Germany modernizing the Turkish army's antiquated Leopard 2A4 tanks, which had proven embarrassingly vulnerable in combat. Berlin, however, decided to halt the hostage for tanks deal on January 24 in response to public outcry over claims that Turkey was using its Leopard 2 aircraft to kill Kurdish fighters in the Syrian enclaves of Afrin and Manbij. Comparing nearly contemporaneous vehicles, the Leopard 2 and the M1 Abrams is a common practice. The two designs are actually fairly similar in that they have engines that can reach speeds of over 40 miles per hour, sophisticated composite armor that weighs well over 60 tons, and, in the case of some models, the same Rheinmetall 44 caliber 120mm main gun. Both types can easily take out most Russian-built tanks at medium and long range. By that time, it is unlikely that return fire from standard 125mm guns will be able to penetrate them. They also have better magnification and thermal imagers, which enhances their vision and raises the possibility that they will locate and hit the enemy first. This has historically been a more significant factor than firepower in determining the victor of armored warfare. A Soviet T-80 scored only 11 hits against shifting Leopard 2s in Abrams, which hit a 2.3-meter target 19 times out of 20 and 20 times out of 20, respectively, in a Greek test. The two Western tanks differ slightly from one another, indicating different national ideologies. Unlike the Leopard 2, which can travel farther before requiring fuel thanks to its diesel engine, the Abrams has a noisy, gas-guzzling turbine that produces 1,500 horsepower and starts up faster. The Germans view the use of depleted uranium ammunition and armor packages as politically unacceptable, but these technologies have given the Abrams some incredible offensive and defensive capabilities. Later models of the Leopard 2A6 now mount a 55 caliber gun with a higher velocity to make up for the lack of penetrating power, and the 2A5 Leopard added an extra wedge of spaced armor to the turret to improve its resistance to enemy fire. Berlin imposes stricter restrictions on the countries to which it will sell arms, in contrast to France, the US, or Russia. This reluctance to sell weapons also extends to the export of armaments. Berlin rejected a generous offer from Saudi Arabia for between 400 and 800 Leopard 2 aircraft, citing the Middle Eastern country's human rights abuses and, in particular, its bloody war in Yemen, even though 18 countries, including many NATO members, currently operated the aircraft. Instead, the Saudis extended their fleet of nearly 400 ships by ordering more Abrams. This brings us to Turkey, a NATO member with whom Berlin shares close historical and economic ties but which has also gone through protracted, tense counterinsurgency warfare against Kurdish separatists as well as periods of military rule. Berlin sold 354 of its decommissioned Leopard 2A4 tanks to Ankara in the early 2000s, when political conditions were more benevolent. Compared to Turkey's M60 Patton tanks, which form the backbone of its armored forces but lack adequate protection, these were a major upgrade. There is a persistent rumor, however, that Berlin only agreed to the sale if Turkey promised not to use the German tanks in its counterinsurgency against the Kurds. Whether or not such an understanding ever occurred is arguable, but the fact remains that the Leopard 2 was stationed facing Russia in northern Turkey, a long way from the Kurdish conflict. Ultimately, however, in the fall of 2016, Turkish Leopard 2s from the 2nd Armored Brigade crossed the Syrian border to support Turkey's counteroffensive against ISIS, Operation Euphrates Shield. ISIS and Kurdish missiles destroyed roughly 12 Turkish Patton tanks before the Leopard arrived. Turkish defense analysts were optimistic about Leopard's performance because of its greater resilience. Designed to fight in relatively concentrated units in a fast-moving defensive war against Soviet tank columns, the 2A4 model was the final Cold War-era Leopard 2 designed to withstand IEDs and missiles fired by ambushing insurgents in long-term counterinsurgency campaigns where every single loss was a political issue. The 2A4 is less resilient to modern anti-tank missiles because it retains the boxy turret configuration from previous models. This is particularly problematic because the vehicle's side and rear armor are vulnerable to attack by contemporary anti-tank missiles. As reported by Der Spiegel in December 2016, this was shockingly illustrated when it became apparent that several Leopard 2s had been destroyed during intense fighting over Al-Bab, which was held by ISIS. Military authorities in Turkey called this conflict a trauma. 10 of the supposedly unbreakable Leopard 2s appeared to have been destroyed, according to an account posted online. Anti-tank missiles were said to have destroyed 5 of the vehicles, IEDs or mines to have destroyed 2, rocket or mortar fire to have destroyed 1, and more mysterious means to have destroyed the other 2. One seems to depict a Leopard 2 rendered immobile by a suicide vehicle-borne IED, an armored kamikaze truck packed with explosives. One had its entire turret blown off. Along with several other Turkish armored vehicles, 3 Leopard wrecks are visible near the same hospital near Al-Bab. IEDs, at 7 Naties, and at 5 Konkurs anti-tank missiles seem to have mostly hit the less armored sides and belly of the vehicles. There's little doubt that the Turkish army's use of the German tanks contributed to the casualties. Turkish special forces led the assaults, with the intention of using them as long-range fire support weapons as Syrian militias allied with Turkey stiffened, rather than using them in a combined arms force with mutually assisting infantry. Due to their exposed firing positions and insufficient infantry nearby to create a robust defensive perimeter, the Turkish Leopards were vulnerable to ambushes. But more recently, Leopard 2s have seen a lot of action against Taliban insurgents in Afghanistan alongside Danish 2A5S and Canadian 2A6MS, which have enhanced mine protection and even deployed safety seats that float. They all recovered and went back into service despite some mine damage. However, in 2008, an IED attack claimed the life of a Danish crew member aboard a Leopard 2. In return, field commanders praised the tanks for their maneuverability and precise and timely fire support during large-scale combat operations in southern Afghanistan. Germany upgraded the Leopard 2A7V model, which is more durable in a counterinsurgency scenario, and began reassembling its tank force in 2017. Due to the ongoing delays in the production of the Altay tank domestically, Ankara is now putting pressure on Berlin to strengthen the defense of its Leopard 2 tanks. In addition to more belly armor to protect against IEDs, the Turkish military wants an active protection system (APS) that can detect incoming missiles in their point of origin and jam or even shoot them down. The U.S. An M1 Abrams tank brigade recently received approval from the Army to equip itself with the combat-proven Israeli Trophy APS system. The manufacturer of Leopard 2, Rheinmetall, has debuted its own ADATS APS, which appears to have fewer missiles designed to injure friendly troops in the event of a defensive countermeasure. Thanks for watching.